Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Got my cheat sheet for today's only main slate for today on DraftKings. Before we continue though, if you could leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my new videos. I really appreciate that. You can also follow me on Twitter at ChrisPennell16. If you'd like access to my entire MLB sheet and my Slack chat, the link is in the description below for my Patreon. So anyway, let's dive into today's slate. At pitching, I have Sonny Gray versus the Cardinals at 9,100, Aaron Sanchez at 7,700 versus the Athletics, then Alex Young at 8,100 versus the Giants. So let's do a little quick preview of the pitching sheet to see why I like the guys that I like. So up top, we have Sonny Gray at 9,100. In my opinion, he's my favorite spend up. He's the best spend up on the slate. Yu Darvish is fine at 9,700. But I do prefer getting the extra savings with Sonny Gray, who I think has really just better matchup and probably going to score more points in my opinion. He's been excellent this season. 3.63 xFIP, 27.9% strikeout rate, which is second on the slate only to Yu Darvish, if you're not going to count Chad Green as he's an opener. And really, I just like the matchup. Now, it's not the best strikeout matchup for Sonny Gray here, but the Cardinals are pretty weak overall versus righties. Now, I know they got Carpenter back recently, but it doesn't really scare me considering of how good Sonny Gray's been versus lefties this season. But yeah, the Cardinals 161 team ISO, 2 righties, 308 team WOBA, 2 righties, and 89 WC plus. So those numbers are really just a little bit below average, if not medium. So I think it's not an amazing matchup for Gray, but I think it's one he should excel in. He's got 20-30 point upside in this matchup, and he's only 9,100, so I do think he's cheap enough to be viable in all formats. Now, Alex Young draws the awesome matchup here. That's why I like him going into this game. As you can see, it's a lot of green bars for lefties facing the Giants. Now, 24% strikeout rate, 2 lefties, 137 team ISO, which is lowest on the slate, 286 team MOBA, which is lowest on the slate, and only a 77 WRC plus, which is also lowest on the slate. So, it's also he's also going to be at home, and he's a favorite. So, I do think he is in play. And just all the numbers are going for him, so I do think he is fine at 8,100. Maybe a little bit overpriced for Alex Young, but I think he's okay. And then we have Aaron Sanchez at 7,700. Now, it's not my favorite matchup in the world, but it's a decent park for pitching. He should be a slight favorite. I know Mike Fiers has not been absolutely awful this season, surprisingly, but the Astros offense is just insanely good. And so they should be able to get to him. And whenever pitchers go to Houston, they tend the Houston organization, they tend to pitch better. And he's had 3 straight games in a row with 20 points. I know one of them was when he was with the Blue Jays, but I do think he's a fine SP2 at only 7,700. So that's my opinion on pitchers. Again, if you want to pay up for Yu Darvish, I understand that, but I do prefer going with Sonny Gray with the 600 savings. Other than that, there's really no one I'm too interested in. Maybe outside of Julio Teheran, maybe, but that's pushing it a little bit. And Devin Smeltzer would actually be a little bit interesting, but I just don't want to use pitchers in Texas. Just not worth the risk to me. So let's get into some of the offensive plays. We have Gary Sanchez leading the way at catcher at 4,500. He's a core play for me versus Adam Plutko. He was a reverse splits righty in terms of giving up a lot of power to right-handed bats this season. You know, Gary Sanchez, he's been hitting bombs all year, and he's been smashing righties, so I do like this game for fantasy. Both offenses should be able to put up a lot of runs. I believe it's at 11.5 over under right now. So I want to get as many pieces as I can from this game. Then Jason Castro at 3,900 versus Pedro Payano. I think I'm saying that right. But anyway, this game's in Texas, so the ball should fly. You guys know I love the Twins, and they get an amazing ballpark for hitting versus a below average pitcher and bullpen, so they should be able to mash here. One of the top stacks, if not the top stack on the entire slate for me. Wellington Castillo at 2,600 versus Andrew Heaney. Now, he's got some decent strikeout stuff, but he does give up some power to lefties and righties, and Castillo's just way too cheap facing a lefty where he usually hits decently high in the order. At first base, we have Joey Votto at 4K versus Michael Wacha. Now, Wacha's actually a little bit better versus righties. I mean, he's a little bit worse versus righties, a little bit better versus lefties, but that doesn't mean he's any really good versus lefties. And we're in Great American Ballpark, which is a great park for hitting, so I don't mind going with the Reds here, as they should be able to put up some runs, and they're decently cheap enough. Then Jose Abreu with 3,900, just a little bit too cheap in my opinion versus Heaney, who does give up some power. And then Jake Lamb at 3,700 versus Derek Rodriguez, who's a really low strikeout pitcher, so he should be able to hopefully make contact here and hopefully hit a bomb. He's a guy I tend to like to play a lot versus right-handed pitching, especially bad righties. Then at second base, we have Luis Arraez. I think I'm saying that right. He's only 4,300, so he's decently cheap on the twin stack, and I think he's just fine. Yeah, if you're full stacking the Twins, I'd make sure he's in your lineup as long as he's got a good spot in the order, which I think he should. And then DJ LeMahieu at 5,100, just another righty versus Plutko. He should be leading off, and he's just been excellent this season. And then Josh Van Meter at 4K versus Michael Wacha. You guys know I like playing Van Meter. He just tends to be too cheap. Great ballpark for hitting against a below-average pitcher, in my opinion. And then at third base, we have Jose Ramirez at 4,700. Maybe more of a homer pick here, but he's been hitting the ball a lot better after the All-Star break, and going against Chad Green and whoever comes in the bullpen. This game's expected to have a lot of runs scored, so I do think, and again, I do agree with that. I agree with Vegas here. I think the Yankees and Indians should have a high-scoring game here, two below average. I mean, they don't have a starter coming in, so the Indians should be able to put up runs, and they've been one of the best offenses in the league recently. And then Eugenio Suarez versus Michael Wacha. Like I said, Wacha's actually been a little bit worse versus righties this season. And we're in Great American Ballpark. Suarez has a ton of power. And only 4,600. I think he's a pretty good value there. And then Array is already talked about. Shortstop, we have Frankie Lindor at 5K. Again, I like this game for offense. So give me the Indians' best hitter. Jorge Polanco, 4,600. He's a lot better versus righties. And at only 4,600, he's very affordable for a full twin stack. So don't mind using him. He should be batting second. Then DJ Gregorius, 4,400. Now, I know I said Plutko's a reverse splits righty, but he's not very good versus lefties either. Indeed, he's only 4,400, so he's a pretty affordable piece of the Yankees stack. Then in the high-end outfield, we have Max Kepler, who you guys know is one of my favorite players to use pretty much all season. And leading off versus Pedro Piano in Texas, he's one of the top plays on the entire slate from a projection standpoint. And Eddie Rosario is pretty much the same play as Kepler, but he's going to be batting around fourth. And he's just, in my opinion, he's not as good as Kepler, but he's just about right there. And they're pretty much the same play. And then the Punisher, 4,900, he just continues to absolutely mash ever since he got called up. And righties versus Wacha tend to work out. So I think this is a fantastic spot for him. And then in the mid-range outfield, we have Hunter Pence versus the lefty Devin Smeltzer. Pence has been very good versus lefties this season, and it's a great ballpark for hitting, so I like him a lot. Nick Castellanos, 4,700. He's been mashing on the Cubs, and he's going to be facing a lefty, and he's been elite versus lefties this season. And he's finally shining after getting out of Detroit, so I do like going with Castellanos versus the lefty. Fortunately, his salary is coming up. He was in that low 4K range, but I do think he's worth it if you want to spend up for him. And then Aaron Judge at 4,400. He really hasn't been doing much the past week. He's pretty much chalk every day. But this is a really good matchup again, so I do have him as a core play. And I think if you can't homer here, we have a problem. But like I said, reverse splits righty and Plutko. Judge is pretty good versus righty, so this makes a lot of sense. Probably one of the top home run spots on the slate. I said it should be a top home run spot on the slate, so we'll see if Aaron Judge will comply with that. And then in the value outfield, we have Jesse Winker leading off versus Michael Wacha. Van Meter we already talked about. David Peralta is only 4K versus Derek Rodriguez, who's again a low strikeout pitcher. David Peralta is very good versus righties. Michael Brantley is only 4K versus Mike Fiers, and I said whenever he's facing a average righty or below, and he's only around 4K, he automatically goes on the sheet every single time. Then Marvin Gonzalez at 3,900, just a cheap part of the Twins stack versus Pedro. Then if we go to some of the core plays and top stacks, we have Sonny Gray at 9,100, Gary Sanchez at 4,500, Aaron Judge at 4,400. My mouth is dry. And the top stacks for me are the Twins, the Yankees and Indians game, and then the Reds. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for the video. Remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on my new videos. And again, I apologize if these aren't really as in-depth. I'm still on vacation, so I don't have as much time as to put in some prep work for the video. But these are the guys that I like, so I should be home. They'll probably be back to a more regular schedule by Sunday. So anyway, guys, that's all I got. I wish you guys the best of luck, and have a great Thursday.